School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Afternoon and welcome to Deep South Dining. Mountain White, Carol Palmer with our old buddy
Delbert McClinton. What a nice surprise now.
Yeah, I told Marissa to dial it up, but not to tell you.
Oh, man.
Your face just completely changed when you heard Delbert's voice.
Well, Malcolm, I went on the Delbert McClinton Blues Cruise.
Back in when?
Let's not talk about it.
Okay.
But it was on a rusty tub. It wasn't like the Disney. In fact, our boat pulled up in the Bahamas by the Disney boat, and some of the people on our boat mooned the Disney boat. It was kind of two different experiences. But ours was 24 hours of rock and roll.
Now, Marsha Ball, I'm sure, was aboard.
Long, tall Marsha Ball, Jimmy Hall. Yeah, some of the real greats.
That's good. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with Delbert McClinton. I did a lot of shows with him. And he is a super gentleman, nice fella, and a very talented vocalist. Texas to Jackson, old Delbert McClinton. All right, so Carol, I sent you a video and a little story link that I thought was super cool. And it is a connection between the White Pillars in Biloxi and Parkway Bakery and Tavern in New Orleans. And
so cool.
It's very cool. So the house that is now the White Pillars was a residence.
Yes, it was Gunston Hall.
Built in
1905.
1905. Later turned into a restaurant by the Mladinich family. But before that, Justin Kennedy, the general manager and chef at Parkway, his great-great-grandparents lived in Dunston Hall in Biloxi. And so somehow Chef Austin Summerall at White Pillars and Chef Justin Kennedy connected these dots and became friends. And they did a pop-up, I think it was last Sunday night, at the White Pillars in Biloxi, featuring primarily, a mashup of the two cuisines, po' boys, seafood, different dishes. I think I sent you the menu.
Yeah, well, they called it the Poor Boy Pop-Up, not to be confused with just po' boy. I thought that was interesting.
Yes, I've always spelled poor.
And why weren't we there? Why did
out.
we find out after the fact? That would have been a good one.
Well, who knows why we didn't know, but it was sold out and quite a success. I have a feeling they'll be repeating it. So anyway, great tidbit there between New Orleans and Biloxi, the old White Pillars. So if you haven't checked it out, they've been reopened now for several years. They were recognized by the James Beard Foundation
and Michelin.
So they've had quite a run, and things are going very well there. Let's see, this month, June, is National Fruits and Vegetables Month, and I think those of us who live here know that I've been enjoying squash and cucumbers and tomatoes that have been coming in I've only been growing the little tomatoes and the small tomatoes in my backyard, but friends have already started dropping off cucumbers and tomatoes and squash. Kara made a fabulous squash dish last night. She cooked some squash with some onions, and it was just so sweet. I mean, the difference between a fresh squash and a hothouse squash is just like.
And tomatoes are all over Cooking and Coping. If you go through our Cooking and Coping Facebook page, they're the first tomato sandwich of the season, tomato pies. And somebody, I wish I could remember who did it, did an everything bagel. It was homemade, so it was rectangular with tomatoes. So it's just so much fun this time of year to see what people are doing, and all the vegetables. Tim Pierce did what he calls Dillard Fay's supper, and you remember Dillard Fay was his mom,
right,
from Boonville.
That's right.
And he had like pork tenderloin, but he had snap peas, fried okra, pan-fried squash, tomatoes, radishes. It's summer. So much of that.
A lot going on. And my lunch today, as I posted on Cooking and Coping, was a tuna salad sandwich. It had a very thick slice of a Creole tomato that I found at Corner Market. They had gotten in some Creoles and probably still have them if you're in the Jackson metro area.
That sandwich was fierce, Malcolm.
That sandwich was great. Let me tell you how I took a 3-ounce tin of this, which you know about. This is Fishwife. It's
I think it's a Spanish tuna.
It is. It's an albacore Spanish tuna in spicy olive oil. And you said they also have sardines.
And they also have, I don't know if it's the bonita, it's the longer tuna strips. The packaging is just
the
amazing.
Marketing is unreal. Kara came home with this and said, even if I didn't eat tuna, I would have bought this at the store today. This is the best marketing that she said she had seen in a while. And it's Fishwife in Spanish olive oil. And anyway, I took a can of this, and I was in a hurry because I was very hungry. And I opened the refrigerator, and I saw three things. And I said, okay. I put in some mayonnaise. I put in some olive salad and some pico de gallo. And I mixed it all up, put this thick slab of a Creole tomato on there.
It was very thick. I was wondering, how did you deal with that?
Toasted that brioche bun and had at it. So anyway, you don't always have to have a recipe, my friends. Just an imagination, and open the door.
Well, on the low end of the totem pole, how about the pickle smoothie?
Yeah.
I saw you put a board. Where was that? It has a pickle
That's
smoothie.
the smoothie place right there on Northside Drive at Highland Village. What's the name of the place? It's a chain smoothie place.
Oh, Smoothie King?
Smoothie King.
Oh.
So
I mean, you do. You've always loved a pickle.
Love pickles. Well, I grew up in the pickle capital of the world, Wiggins.
But
Come
a pickle
on.
smoothie, come on now.
But, it's kind of like Joe Sherman said, that maybe pickles are the sort of thing, this year, instead of the spice, the pumpkin spice in the fall, it's going to be pickle this and pickle that. And there were people who posted about pickle ice cream, snowballs, pickle drinks.
Yikes.
And pickle smoothies. So it's pickles everywhere. And the pickle festival is coming up soon. I don't know. Marissa, if you know the date, I've seen it advertised at the Ag and Forestry Museum. We'll get that date for you. I went last year and took the grandkids, had a big time. Now, there you'll find pickle-flavored everything, for sure.
Save me.
The Mississippi Pickle Fest this year is this coming Saturday and Sunday, I believe.
Well, there you go.
So Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday, June 14th, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Great. Thanks for that.
It's almost time.
Before I left home to come here, it was hard for me to leave to come to work today because my wife, who's has some of the summer off, so she's putting it to good use. She has gotten her grandmother's Armenian cookbook out, her grandmother Elizabeth Tatillion, and she is making her sweet dinner rolls, which are called churdeg. In Armenia, spells Cheurag. So she had that in the lower oven, and in the upper oven, Carol, she had 2 apple cakes baking. So the house smelled like the Parkway Bakery, and it was really hard to leave.
Malcolm, I can only imagine. But wait.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. My only contribution to our cooking life this week is, we've been focused on Conecuh sausage.
We're big fans. We're big fans.
Well, we're becoming. We keep reading about it. So before the show, I ran up to Corner Market to bring you some original Conecuh sausage.
Oh, great.
And our next guest, Taylor, y'all can decide who gets the hickory smoked and who gets the regular. But we're going to be working on our Conecuh sausage presentation over the summer and try to find somebody to get on the show to talk to us about it.
Yeah, and there was that article that I shared with you guys about somebody comparing the Conecuh to the sausage down on 49 South.
Yeah, the country pleasing.
Country pleasing. So we were going to try to. It's not pleasing. It's pleasing.
Pleasing.
Country pleasing. So we're going to try to get somebody on to talk to us about both of these sausages.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think.
And have a sausage off.
Because I bought some and cooked it over the weekend for John and tasted a little bit, and it's delicious.
Delicious.
It's very well balanced.
Yep.
And as you taught me in the hot dog world, it has good snap.
It's got a snap.
It's got snap.
It's got
to
an
it.
audience.
It's a little bit thinner, but it's the famous sausage from Alabama.
Yes.
Evergreen, Alabama, Conecuh County. There you go.
So we do have a caller, I believe. Marissa, am I correct? It's L-A-N-K, Lank? No. Anyway, welcome, whomever you might be from Louisiana. You had a question or a suggestion? Hello.
Yeah. Hello. How you doing?
Doing good. Yourself?
Yeah. What would be good food to eat when you got lung cancer and then eating up your left lung, and then I had 4 stents in my heart, and then I got kind of blind in my left eye and got stomach cancer.
Wow. Well, I tell you, we don't really. I don't care. You may have some advice. We don't really have advice on what to eat with someone who has cancer. But I would say that the safe way to go would be fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. As healthy as you can stand. Lay off of the heavy stuff, the really spicy stuff. Because if you have stomach cancer, I'm sure your stomach is working overtime just to deal with that, and so it doesn't need to be bombarded like with things super spicy or too greasy.
Yeah, and find a good dietitian. I'm sure with the hospitals or doctors' offices to find somebody that can walk you through that, because that's serious stuff, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going through it, but they don't seem to think I'm disabled. And down here in Louisiana, I mean, I'm not disabled with all this stuff going on with me, and I can't hardly get around or walk a minute.
Well, we wish you well, and we're sorry for your troubles. Thanks for listening and for giving us a call. And we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with we've got a very special guest coming up, Carol.
Yes,
one of
Taylor
our great friends,
Bowen-Ricketts,
the chef from Greenwood, will be joining us right after the break. And we look forward, if you'd like to join the show by calling 1-877-MPB-RING. That's 1-877-672-7464. Or you can shoot us an email to food@mpbonline.org. Carol and I will be right back with Chef Taylor Bowen-Ricketts.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, going about their business, who care less.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining here on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White with Carol Palmer. And just want to remind everybody that Deep South Dining podcast is brought to you by Mississippi Red Pepper Sauce. Discover more at msredpeppersauce.com. It is local peppers with a familiar kick, Carol. So today, Carol, drum roll, would you please introduce our featured guest of the day?
What more can I say? It's Chef Taylor Bowen-Ricketts, and
hello, everyone.
A great favorite. And Taylor and I worked together in Greenwood for many years. Taylor had Delta Bistro, and now Fan and Johnny's. And if there was one place that I could go eat or would go eat in Mississippi, Fan and Johnny's is it.
Yes.
And it's also my husband's favorite place. And he actually memorialized that in a book. They were interviewing John for a book, and they asked him his favorite restaurants. And he said Willie's Wine Bar in Paris and Delta Bistro in Greenwood.
What kind of good company is that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll second that emotion.
And, you know, some people call it the Delta's artisanal restaurant, but it's definitely the most interesting cuisine, the most interesting flavor. This woman knows how to pack some flavor into just about anything.
Well, I do like to spice things up quite a bit when I can. Of course, I have to hold myself back every now and then for the more mild-mannered folk. But in the Delta, you know, most of us are a little spicy, so they can take it.
Yeah. But
yeah, they
it's
come
not
looking
like
for it, I would think.
It's the combinations.
Right.
And I was looking at just something from, I look at your Facebook page just to think when I'm hungry, you know, usually around lunchtime. Buldak chicken noodle bowl with Korean fire chicken and chili crisp.
Well, it's
creamy long noodles.
Yeah.
Read that to us and tell us what that is.
Now, this was just a special. This was a special.
No, this was just a lunch.
This was a lunch special.
Special, okay.
This was one of the several that I did that day. And it's just, you know, it's fried chicken and noodles, but just lots of spice and some Asian love. And who doesn't love chili crisp? And, you know, they've... If there's something friendly and something familiar on there to kind of hook them in, I can go a little bit crazy and make people get out of their comfort zone sometimes, which I like to do just because, you know, the problem is that I've got a lot of customers that come and get the same thing every time they come. And I, too, am guilty of that because there's restaurants I go to and I get the same thing every time I go. But it's a small town and it gets sleepy and dusty, and we have to entertain ourselves sometimes, and I like to spice it up and change things. And so I do these kind of specials not only for my own entertainment, but I think that there's I've got some regulars that come and like to try just different things, and I
would say you're a destination restaurant. People come from all over to see what you're doing.
They do come from here, there, and yonder often, and I love seeing them because they talk about how much they look forward to coming, and that's probably my favorite part about the whole business is being there for people to come and have their special moments, and if I can give them great food while I'm at it, then I love to do that. That's just a special perk. But they really do, it fuels my fire when people get excited to come try my food, for sure.
Okay, Mel, this one sounds pretty good.
All right.
Lamb chops carbonara, which are bacon-wrapped lamb chops with sweet pea gratin and angel hair Alfredo. What do you think?
I'm in. Yes. I love getting your daily post and seeing what you're featuring. It's sort of part of my day. It's like, wow, look what Taylor's doing. Look what Tay-Tay's doing today. She's shaking it on down up in Greenwood.
You know, it's awfully quiet up there some days, and so I've got to make my own party, and we do. I mean,
it's a party in your mouth.
It is a party in your mouth, and even our most gentle menu items still have a lot of flavor, and I really think that we can balance things and use the products that we have and are given and can make anything work. You know, there's a guy, he's a country singer. His name's Jim Ed Brown. I don't know if y'all are.
I'm familiar with Jim Ed.
Well, I had the pleasure of feeding him several times, and one time when I was feeding him, he came into the kitchen and he said, you know, you really know how to use those spices and put them together. And if you can do that, you can cook just about anything. And it's really true, right? Because you know, there's only so many, you know, there's chicken, and then you got to figure out all these different ways to cook the chicken. And so you've got to have all your tools to go with that. And that's all you need.
Talking about the tried and trues that people will not let you take off the menu.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you say a couple of them.
Well, we do fried alligator. People love that with our comeback sauce and our fried green tomatoes. Can't get rid of that. We have our crawfish and asparagus pasta salad. It's a remoulade salad that's really great, and people love that. You
can never take that off the menu.
No, and it's been on there since I landed in Greenwood.
Yep.
We have duck ravioli that people love, and the trick to that is the duck cracklings that go on top. That gives it a little texture and punch. And I don't know. I mean, we have our salad dressings, our lemon vinaigrette, I think is, you know, everybody does one. And they're all lots of good ones, but I do say I think ours is the best. Because, again, it's got a little spice to it. It's got that black pepper, which I think is characteristic of Delta food, and that's something that I've adapted. I've really grown to appreciate it because that black pepper does something that no other spices can, and depending on the grind of it, I think it varies a good bit too.
Well, I was going to ask you that. So, do you use it different grinds for different dishes?
Yes, we do. We do. The dressings need coarse ground, and not just store bought. I mean, it's got to be coarse pepper, almost obnoxious little chunks in there. But then we use fresh ground for most other dishes.
Do you use red and white, or do you stick to black?
We do. We use all different kinds. We use red, we use cayenne, we use Aleppo, we use white, we use all different kinds of peppers.
So you were born and raised in Jackson, correct?
Well, I was born in Oxford,
Okay.
and then came down to Jackson and was here until my freshman year at Ole Miss.
So you're back to Oxford.
Went back to Oxford.
Uh-huh. Now, were you familiar growing up about comeback being sort of a Jackson thing, or do you dispute that?
Well, I honestly, wholeheartedly think it's a Jackson thing, and I'll tell you why. Because my grandfather in Hammond, Louisiana, who was my maternal grandfather, really, I think, had just as much to do with my early food memories as anybody else, in which my grandmothers were those other influences. But he used the St. Stephen's Episcopal Church cookbook from Indianola, and that's where all of his recipes came from, including his comeback sauce. And so the whole time, when I thought it was a Louisiana thing, it was actually a Mississippi thing that he was just using in Louisiana.
And
then,
so he was the Johnny of Fan and Johnny's?
He's the Johnny of Fan and Johnny's. Yeah.
And where did he get that said cookbook?
From my great aunt and uncle who, my paternal great aunt and uncle, who they got to be friends after my parents got married, and they lived in Indianola.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there was a comeback recipe.
It was a comeback. There was a comeback recipe in there, and then he had, and I have the book, his book. I have all of his notes that he scribbled and changed and marked out. You know, he added and took away from recipes and had stars and check marks, and this is good and this is not good.
Well, he must have been an amazing influence, because you don't just put somebody's name on your restaurant.
Well,
unless it means
let me
a
tell
whole lot.
You're right. And every time I would go to their house when I was young, I would say, y'all need to open a restaurant. Of course, I was young and I didn't have a clue.
No idea.
No idea. And of course, they had their own lives and their own business, and wisely never took my advice. But when I was growing up, I still am an artist and painter and love to make art. And in a lot of my early pieces, there would be a restaurant in the background of whatever scene it was, and the name was Fan and Johnny's. And
so it was in your art before it was in your mind.
So it was
be a
this
business.
weird thing that I guess spoke into existence. So be careful what you say.
And so what kind of things did Fan and Johnny make in their home?
Well, very similar to what I cook in the restaurant, as far as steaks. They were big on steaks for the weekends, and that was kind of a celebratory, the family's in town, let's do that. And she made, my grandmother was the one that really got me into the lemon vinaigrette that we do, because it's just a simple sensation salad, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Oh, yeah.
And that is what it is.
That was the thing.
But again, they added pepper, lots of pepper, and lots more garlic, and lots more Parmesan cheese. So, there's a million recipes for comeback, but they're all different.
They're different, and they're all very good and
it's
interesting.
Yes.
The only ones I don't like are the ones that they just put a lot of hot sauce in just to, for some reason, make it too hot. I don't get it. But either way, to each their own.
And then the ones that say, oh, it's kind of like French dressing. And it makes me want to slap them when they say that, because this is nothing like French dressing.
No,
or Thousand Island.
Yeah. That's I used to say when we were serving it and no one knew what it was. I don't know how, but I would say think Thousand Island, but more garlicky, not sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a way to tell someone who'd never tasted
to enter them into the world.
Because it has the color.
It has the color.
But anyway,
yeah.
So it was not a Delta thing because I remember when Fred Carl bought and Viking bought Gardenas, and we were working on the recipes for the new restaurant, and I guess Martha Foose or somebody or maybe me said we've got to have comeback dressing, and it was not a thing that they were, they knew about. And we had many comeback tastings.
Well, the one at Gardena's is doesn't have as much pepper as mine, and it also seems to have a little more chili sauce, I think. That's a big ingredient, as well as the garlic and onion.
And the onion juice.
And the onion juice.
And that's where a lot of these bottled comebacks miss the boat, is they can't use fresh onion juice.
Yes.
They have to use onion powder, and it's just
not
the same.
And people ask me that, why don't you bottle your salad dressings? And I just can't, because you can't, because all of ours use fresh ingredients, and I just can't make them shelf stable.
Now, after you got done with Ole Miss, did you go to the Culinary Institute in California? Was that the next step along the way?
Well, no, that was way late. That was later.
What's the progression here?
So before I graduated from Ole Miss, I opened my first restaurant with Paige Osborne. We opened Yakna River Inn up in Oxford. And
it burned, right?
It burned.
What years were those?
92.
Okay.
I want to say.
You were a small child.
I was a small child, yes. And I'd been tiptoeing around the restaurant business as it was, because I needed a job. And fortunately, when I was still here in Jackson, I got kind of exposed and interested and welcomed into the whole rainbow crowd. And that was influence on me as well.
Which was our first vegetarian, probably the first and only vegetarian restaurant.
Yeah, it was a grocery store and a cafe.
And
it was a co-op.
And I was really into it. And I think that's a cornerstone of my food, because I mean my first 2 jobs were in Whole Foods restaurant,
and one was at Harvest Cafe.
Harvest Cafe, and then at the Hoka, I mean everything was made from scratch there as well, and Ron was very Whole Foods centric.
And so this is as a student you're doing this. This is your side job.
But I had an extended, an extra year or 2. And I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. And then at the same time, Darby, my husband, and our friends Scott and Jeff opened up Proud Larry's, so we had that going on too. And then we had another place called the Jubilee, that was a tapas way before its time in Oxford. And then I got blessed with a child that
who happens to be in the studio with us today.
Yes, and we did a little tour in Maine for a year on an island, and again was exposed to some amazing fruits of the sea and the land with their their lifestyle and the fishermen's the community up there, and that whole thing was really fascinating.
Were you cooking in a restaurant in Maine?
No, I was just having babies, or a baby. It there.
Yeah, that'll tie you up.
Yeah. We had gotten out of the restaurants in Oxford.
Took a little sabbatical.
Took a little sabbatical and really got that influence from up there. And then came home because I was homesick. Oxford's a pretty magical place during the holidays, and we came back for a visit for Thanksgiving, and it just wooed us right back to Mississippi eventually.
Right. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll continue. We've gotten you so far to Maine, so let's remember when we come back, we got to move you forward from Maine until...
to Greenwood is the next.
Yeah, we got to hop her over to Greenwood.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Chef Taylor Bowen-Ricketts and talking more about her experience and her culinary journey. And stay tuned. Hang in there. We'll be back after a short break.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer. I'd like to remind you that our podcast, Deep South Dining Podcast, is brought to you by Mississippi Red Pepper Sauce. Discover more at msredpeppersauce.com, and we appreciate that. Our guest today is a James Beard Award semifinalist and one of Southern Living's top female chefs, but I would say top chef, period. And she is just in a few days, I guess, or a week or so, one of the featured chefs at the upcoming Natchez Food and Wine Festival. That happens sometime in July. And Taylor Bowen-Ricketts is here as our guest. And Taylor, tell us a little bit we'll get back to the food journey in your career, but I want to hear a little bit about the Natchez Food and Wine Festival. Have you done it before?
Yes, I've been down there. It's one of my favorite events of the year. I've been many, many times. And this year, it is, I believe, Friday, July 24th. And 25th in Natchez.
That's right.
The Friday night event is at the convention center, and it's nice and air conditioned. It's in the evening. There's over 30 chefs, I believe, represented. It's wine, craft beer, and distilleries from all over the Gulf South that's being represented. And every chef does a tasting, so there's lots of different bites that you get to try, and lots of cocktails you get to try, and it's a whole lot of fun. There is VIP early access that you can get tickets for at 6, and then the general tastings start at 6:30 to 9:30, and then there's a party after that. Even
And
always a party.
Always a party because all the chefs go, and then everybody that was at the festival goes, and we all get to having a real good time.
I bet there's music involved.
There is music, and it's at, I think this year it's at the Natchez Brewing Company, and there's food as well.
Now, you're doing a featured dinner, right?
Yes. On Saturday of the festival, they have breakout sessions, and there's a mixology class at 11, I believe, and two different classes, and then there's a wine and cheese tasting at Dunleith Plantation Home at 1:30, and I believe there's a bourbon tasting at 5. So there's all these different events, and then Saturday night, me and 4 other chefs are doing a dinner at Longwood, and
that is such a fabulous place.
Well, I've never been, so I'm excited.
It was the house that wasn't finished. It's kind of, was it octagonal?
It's
or
octagonal, yeah.
And now it must be finished.
It's finished enough to have a dinner.
I suppose.
I bet somebody's come in and
it is, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know it wasn't finished, though. It was never finished historically.
I think that's correct.
It was.
They left behind like their supplies, and they're still sitting there. The supplies.
I mean, there was like lumber and things that were building.
Natchez is a fascinating city to me. It's one of my favorite places in Mississippi, for sure.
It's the most eclectic village in Mississippi.
I think that's why I like
far
it so
and
much.
away. There's not even a second. You know, some people say, "Oh, in Oxford's so weird," and I'm like, "You want weird? You want eclectic?
You want to go to Natchez?
It's
Get down to the river.
funky down there. It's really a group of artists and people that appreciate fine things and food and wine and music, and that Mississippi River down there is just huge.
You know, and they're very isolated.
Very isolated.
Natchez, if you look on the map of Mississippi, it's very hard to get to.
You don't go there unless you're going there.
Donna Barksdale and I worked with Dunleith for a few years on some consulting with the hotel and the gift shop, and what we learned is, you have to go there on purpose.
Yes.
It's 2 hours from Jackson. It's like 2 hours from Baton Rouge. You have to fly into.
Is it that far from Baton Rouge?
I
was thinking it was a little closer.
It may be a little closer, but it's not on the beaten path.
No, it's not. I made the mistake of thinking I could just zip over to New Orleans after the Natchez Food and Wine Festival a few years back, and I guess it was before it was so easy to get directions on our phones, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was not a zip over at all. It was.
Well, there are a lot of two-lane roads if you go a certain way to New Orleans.
But
anyway.
You're right about it. It's only 90 miles from.
Yeah, because I thought, I think of few things, and I'm like, oh, well, it's closer to an airport than Greenwood is. You know, and that's one of the things that I do wish was a little different in Greenwood, is that I was a little closer to an airport.
All right, let's pick up our sort of your journey, if you would. You got us to Maine, and then you came home to Oxford for Thanksgiving, the holidays, and you said that
was glamoured.
You were enamored and glamoured, and you decided it was time to come home.
Yeah. And we did, and as we all know, Oxford is a magical place, but So is the Mississippi Delta.
And Taylor was recruited.
We were recruited. We were wholeheartedly recruited to move to Greenwood and become part of a very fascinating experience down there that Carol had everything to do with. And
well, not everything, but I like Taylor. It was a great thing to be a part of.
You were also recruited.
Yes,
right?
I certainly was.
Fred Carl
in
his Viking
Range.
experiment started recruiting bookstores and chefs and restaurants and creative people to come join him in his hometown and, have a big time.
Yeah, and it was a big time, let me tell you.
Truly, we were introduced to so many things. And, just speaking of the Culinary Institute of America, I mean, Taylor got to, to go there and experience a lot
I got
of theirs.
to experience things that I would never have gotten to experience.
Or we would go to
otherwise.
New York for,
Yes.
food shows, beard awards, and then Taylor got well known in her own right around that crowd and would get recruited to go cook dinners in California.
Yeah.
And it was a big world.
It was
It
a
is
big world and still is, and a lot of fun and that is really the main education right there. That all the experiences that I was exposed to
and cooking for chefs from Emerald would be in town or Thomas Keller. Oh, hello, Taylor. Can you cook for so and so tonight?
Yeah, the night that we had dinner.
Alice Waters.
Yes, the Alice Waters. I just got finished reading her autobiography, and she's so inspirational to me. Yeah. She's always been, and the fact that I got to spend time with her and cook with her, that's just one of the joys that makes me realize that, big things can happen anywhere.
They sure can. And, Fred Carl brought a lot.
He did. He really did.
Really did.
Now, when you got to Greenwood, what was your first assignment? Were you teaching cooking classes at Viking, or did you instantly open a restaurant, or what?
Well, we took over management of the Delta Fresh Market, which was a fresh market, much like the one in Madison originally.
Fred project.
Yes, but I don't think Fresh Market wasn't even in Madison yet, or Whole Foods. I mean, it was a gold in the middle of a desert. I mean, it was amazing store up there, and of course, we wanted the opportunity to take it. And there was a cafe as well.
Okay.
And so eventually it evolved, and we moved downtown to the Delta Bistro. We took the
which is where Fan and Johnny's is to this day.
Yeah.
Now.
And was it an old cotton factor building?
It was the old cotton factor, Norrid Cotton Factor, where they would judge cotton. And it's an amazing architectural location with the north-facing skylights for the natural light to judge all the cotton that we're on Cotton Row and Ramcat Alley, which is historically where they judged and sold and traded all the cotton. So
back when cotton was king.
Cotton was king, and all these beautiful buildings. Where the job you were called a cotton factor. Mm-hmm. That was your job, and they all have skylights so that you could look. I mean, there are probably 15 or 20 of them, and Fred redid a lot of them.
Not great for the air conditioning system, but
I would think not.
But your restaurants are really special architecturally.
It is.
It has your art, your husband's art.
Yes.
Is there any of Sela's art?
Yes, there is Sela's art and Lola's as well, and a couple of our friends have art in there. Some of our Oxford artist friends have art in there, and I'm a terrible business person, and even though I've been in business for over 30 years now, I don't want to get too serious about either one of my businesses, so I figure if I do both of them, continuously.
If you paint a little and cook a little.
Yep. I don't have to go all in on either one.
Now, for a brief moment, you left the bistro and opened some other place, because I remember going there.
The Delta Bistro Pub.
Okay, that was across.
Yes, we
town.
had another location around closer to the hotel.
Right.
And it
right.
had a bar.
That's right. I
It
remember.
had a bar.
And then after that, you
Fan
came
and
back over
Johnny's.
and
Came
did Fan
back.
Johnny's.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do not have a bar, but we BYOB, which is the big Delta thing.
Yeah, people like that.
Yeah, they do.
But that's where a lot of the profit margin is.
Yes,
as
it
the
is.
Mayflower.
From one restaurateur to another.
Not one business class my whole life.
Well, I think you've done
I think
just
you're
fine.
doing
And, you know,
quite
Malcolm,
well.
we need to make this an annual event. We usually get Taylor on Zoom or on the phone about then. We need to do it in person like this.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
there are many more stories to tell.
There are. And I promise I'll keep them PG.
It's not easy for any of us, but we appreciate it. That is.
But speaking of artwork, one day we were entertaining very famous winemakers, and they saw a painting on the wall, huge painting on the wall, and wanted to buy it for their winery. So I go get Taylor in the kitchen, and I don't know how old was Lola at that time, like 5 or 6.
No, I think she was like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and Seela was about 7 or 8, maybe. Yeah.
And they had painted.
They had painted it.
And Taylor walks up there and said, well, my little girls did that. I mean, the people were thinking they were going to pay thousands of dollars.
And
they asked, what price would you put on it? And you said, well, like $50. I mean, they're like,
She's selling you cheap. All right.
Artistic family.
We are so delighted that you came.
Well,
thank
thank you.
And we'll
Thank you.
certainly look forward to having you back.
Enjoyed being here.
Good. Deep South Dining is a production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting's Think Radio. We are funded by generous contributions from listeners like yourself, and we sure do thank you. Our show was produced by Marissa Vaughn. For our special guest, Taylor Bowen-Ricketts. For my co-host, Carol Palmer, I am Malcolm White. We're asking you to stay tuned now for At Issue up next, and join us next Monday at 4 p.m. when we sit down with Gina Diamond to talk about her new book, The Blooming Table. Tune in every Sunday at 9 a.m. for an encore edition. Remember that Deep South Dining is heard only on MPB Think Radio, and we thank you for tuning in.